What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Overtime presented by TECK. This week, we are coming at you discussing all things NBA draft because by the time we be doing overtime next week, the draft will be going on live. We ain't trying to compete with the draft. We're trying to watch the draft and enjoy the draft. So this week, we are getting all into it, talking about top prospects, some local kids from the 414 Wisconsin ties, Bucks draft prospects, some draft intel, and then we're going to end the show doing our own little mock draft for the lottery. So stay tuned. It's about to be a fun one. You see Tim jigging up there. Y'all ready for it?
It's your boy, TIMKINZ, the number 3, aka Ass Ketchum, aka Mr. Give It To Me. Hello.
I am the Eric J.
Only known as
The Eric J.
And I'm Camille, point guard of the crew, the real life Tifa Lockhart, the girl next door, holding it down for all the women who love sports.
And it's your boy K Harris, the gentleman.
The gentleman.
The everyday gentleman.
24/7.
But better known as K Diddy.
Take that.
Yeah, so as Camille mentioned, Thursday, June 23rd is the 2022 NBA draft. And so, yeah, we're here to kind of preview it for you, run down what our thoughts are on top prospects and what our team, well, at least the one team that does have a draft pick currently, what they should do with it. So let's start at the top of the draft. I think pretty much the consensus across the board is that Jabari Smith, Chet Holmgren, and Paolo Banchero are in some order the top 3 picks in this draft. How do you guys have them ordered on your own personal big boards?
I'm curious to know how Ken has his orders because we kind of texted about it a little bit, but when we were texting about it, Ken never said his, and I'm curious if he has somebody in his number 1 spot that I think he does.
I have Holmgren at number 1.
I thought you did. You love Chet.
Yeah, bro. He's skinny as hell, but I love how he hoop though. That's my dude, man. Yeah, he number 1 for sure. And then Smith number 2. And then how you say his name? Banchero, yeah.
Banchero.
My boy. Banchero, my boy. I like how he hoop too. But Chet number 1 though.
Okay. I had Jabari Smith number 1. Then I had Chet number 2. But actually, doing a little bit more research and doing a little bit more digging into it, I really like Banchero a lot. Like, I do, and I think that I will put him number 2 as like just on my big board, number 2, and then Chet at number 3.
Yeah, I was back and forth between Jabari Smith and Banchero myself, where it's like something about Banchero's game is just so fluid. It just looks like it's going to translate super well in the NBA. But Jabari Smith has something to his game where it makes me think like dude can really be a bona fide star if he lands in the right place too. Okay. I'm going to go Jabari Smith, Banchero, and then Chet. Chet scares me.
He don't necessarily scare me.
Chet scares me.
I've gone back and forth on Paolo and Chet number 1. I remember they Gonzaga played Duke earlier on in the season, and just like the starkness between their bodies and like their physicality was like that stuck with me a lot, which isn't necessarily fair to Chet. So I've tried to kind of tried to take away from that because it's just like they're on different points of their development curve, and like maybe once Chet gets to the league, like his body fills out more, and he clearly has the tools there. Like the defensive presence alone is like he can anchor a defense, and like he has flexibility, and there aren't too many like Shaqs. Not that there ever were, but like there aren't too many Shaqs in the league, and even the big guys that are like bruising in the post is like Embiid and Jokic. I mean Giannis, if you want to look at him that way, like they do that to everybody. So like I'm not gonna give him demerits because like he's gonna get beat up by the few guys that actually have a post game in the league. As far as Banchero, like he's the one that I see having the easiest. Like I can most easily see him being successful because he has such, like to Camille's point, a fluid game. Sorry, my son's in here. Such a fluid game, and like I can easily see him being like a 24, 25 point per game scorer in the league. Like he just has that fluid offensive game. He showed like throughout the season that he was an improving shooter. Which I think was like the biggest knock on his game going into college. But like he has the body for it, he has the physicality, he has the fluidity in his game. He can like set screens, he can be a roller, he can pick and pop, he can handle the ball in isolation. Like he just has a very well-rounded offensive game, which I think can more easily translate to the league. Jabari Smith, I'm not worried. I'm underwhelmed with like his ceiling. Like he's a great shooter, knockdown shooter for sure, but like the defense, he's switchable, which I think people are like, oh my god, he's a switchable defender, and it's like, yeah, but he's also 6'10" and doesn't really protect the rim. Like his blocks aren't as high as somebody with that long ass wingspan, that height should be. Like he leaves me wanting, and I like it. That may not be fair, but it's just like I see his ceiling as like a Rashard Lewis, which is a multi-time All-Star, max player, but like with your number one pick, like it's like I want to reach a little bit higher. It's like if Chet and Paolo hit their ceilings, like Paolo's a go-to scorer and Chet is like a generational defensive prospect. So like at the top of the draft, I go higher up, like the higher upside than I know he'll be like a 10, 12-year vet. That's a 3-and-D guy at worst with Jabari Smith.
That's fair. I think part of Jabari's game that sold me, also like you mentioned, he's a knockdown shooter. Like the man is 6'10" and he is a bucket. He's dangerous in transition. He has a great fade game, good jab step, good lateral movement. The ball handle's a little average, but he's 6'10", so I don't really personally expect a whole lot out of that. But man, I know Rashard Lewis is one of the comps I've seen with him a little bit, but like if he hits that defensive ceiling too, you can mix him like a little KG in there with that Rashard Lewis. I even saw a Chris Bosh comp before, and I was like, that could be an interesting ceiling for him. Like if I was somebody like Orlando, maybe getting a Chris Bosh player would be a big boom for me personally.
See, I personally like, even though he doesn't get the blocks or rack up the blocks and the rim protection and stuff like that, but he's still athletic enough, 6'10" forward that he's causing issues defensively. So I do like his two-way potential mainly, which is why I like him as the number one, because like I said, his offense is just dude's a bucket, like just a flat out freaking bucket. And Orlando needs that if they were to grab him number one, but also him being versatile defensively. And like you said, a lot of people said that he could switch, but which he could. And granted, he's probably not going to give you the best rim protection or the best interior defense. He gives you something on both levels or all three levels to be able to say, okay, he's not going to be a liability, and you still going to get the buckets with him as well. So I appreciate that. Plus, he'll still board too. So if that's what I'm getting, I get a two-way Rashard Lewis. We seen Rashard Lewis at his peak, like bro was ridiculous, like regardless. But then you add in him actually playing some damn defense. Hell yeah, I'll take it. Hell yeah. But I was a Jabari fan while I had Auburn winning the whole thing. So like, I was a Jabari fan and while he was in college. I actually like his game completely. So that's why he had me sold on just his total package. But a lot of the defense comes down to willingness to want to do it. Truly. So I feel like if he gets with a coach, they'll be like, hey, no, you have to play defense, bro. That'll probably unlock the rest of his potential.
Mm-hmm. And then with Chet, he's 7 foot. He's a fucking 7-footer, bro. The only thing that he weighed under 200 pounds though.
Bro,
yeah,
like that's what scares. That's what
he looked like me out there, just
paperweight, dog.
No, that's what. But see, if he come into the league, put on 10, 15 pounds of muscle,
more than that.
I'm saying start off. He got to start off somewhere. He got to start off somewhere. So if he start off with a clean, 15, 20 pounds of muscle, then I get him up to what, 210, 220 maybe,
105.
Hey.
I will say though, I did compare him because I've seen comps, but they saying like Rudy Gobert-esque on defense, but I'm like,
with perimeter skills.
That's what I was saying. Like,
Rudy with offense?
Cause
that's what it is.
No, one thing about Chet though too is like, again, he can defend in space, which is rare for a 7-footer to be able to do. The Ringers draft board called him a Gen Z Paul Gasol.
I'll take it.
Hey, I was just gonna say, I can see it.
Cause he can pass too. He can pass too. Like he can dribble.
Yes, bro.
He can lead the
Chet
play.
is like he's like a dream. The only thing is just his size. Like he's just small, dude.
And like the thing is, it's kind of like with like small guards. Like, sure, it's concerning when you have a guy that is so like he's uniquely built for a basketball player. But he's been uniquely built for a basketball player his entire time coming up. It's not like he's like he was never tall and skinny playing against people that were more physical than him growing up. So like he's learned to adapt, and clearly he's been a strong enough prospect. I mean, he's been a strong enough player as a prospect for, like for that to not have been a liability up until this point. Like same thing with like the Isaiah Thomases, Chris Pauls of the world. Like they always been short. You know what I mean? Like they've learned how to kind of get around that as a basketball player. Like there are certain liabilities that come along with being small, but like they've learned to kind of overcome those things as they've navigated their basketball career. So like it doesn't, like, yes, he needs to gain mass, like he needs to fill out a little bit more, but with him being 19 years old or whatever he is, like that's going to come, like it comes for all of us. Like we all gain weight whether we want to or not, like as we age. So like I'm not concerned that it's not going to happen. Like he's always going to be tall and skinny. It's just like with KD, like he put on enough weight to where it wasn't as big of a problem as it was when he came in at 190 or whatever it was.
Real quick, Ken, you start choking because you drinking out of that big ass jar. That's
hey, bro. Don't do the Mexican. Hey, it almost got me though, bro. I was like, shit. I almost had to turn the car. I almost had to turn the camera off. Like I can't let him see me die.
I see you take that swig early. I was like, God damn, that's a big ass jar.
Hey,
you almost
refreshing, bro.
You drowning in that motherfucker.
Meanwhile, my country self said, "Dang, that look good. I love that."
Hey,
right.
Drinking out of Mason jar, man, is something different. I'm telling you.
So it sounds like we all have the consensus top 3 in our top 3. Was there anybody that was close to breaking through? Like, is there anybody on that next tier that you're like, I don't know, like maybe he's above Chet or maybe he's above Paolo?
I really thought about Jaden Ivey, but truthfully, no. Like them 3 are like
solid.
They're solid. They are the consensus. Like no ifs, ands, buts about it. Because like I said, I have personally always fucked with Jaden Ivey. Like he's the only. He really reminds me like a Morant, Dwayne Wade type. Like he's a crazy slasher, crazy first step, getting to the rim, cutting, slashing. Like he throws his body all over the place and stuff like that. Like exciting player to watch and stuff like that. But he still got that 3. He got to work on some of that for my guard like that. Like I mean, he's looking more like a 2 because he don't really get that many assists like that. Like if he was to get his assist game up, then I'm like, okay, yeah, I see more job than D-Wade.
Right, and that was why, like, as people are comparing him to Ja, I'm like, like he looked like Ja on the court, so like I get it, but like the way they play isn't necessarily like a 1-to-1 comp. Like Ja is a creator. Like Ja was getting like 9-10 assists in college. You know what I mean? Like that was a big part of Ja's game and of his appeal. But he does have like great athlete. Like he's probably the best athlete in the draft. Okay, the best skilled athlete in the draft. And I can easily see him being like a focal point of an offense, like on an NBA team. And yeah, I probably have him fourth, but I don't think that he was necessarily close to breaking through that top group for me. But I do like what he has to offer, and I think that he'll be a good pro.
One other name to throw out there with J90 is Keegan Murray. Just watching his like film and catching up on YouTube and all that stuff and reading the reviews about him, his weaknesses are very minimal. Like he is just a very good all around forward. Like he shoots, he defends, makes the right passes. Like he's not flashy either. It's just a very like, I'm gonna grab my little lunch pail here and I'm about to go to work, and then when I leave, I see you later. Like it's not flashy at all, but I think he has potential to be a guy who's just super consistent throughout his career.
Yeah, Ken, who you got at number 4?
Number 4, I had Ivy. Ivy was my number 4. Okay. Just for all the reasons Tim was saying. Like he's super athletic. He just doesn't pass, but he can score though. He'll bucket.
And I ain't gonna play defense either. You be looking at Russell Westbrook out there, bro, just chilling. Bro, your man's is over there, bro. Why are you here? What are you watching? Stop watching the game. Stop watching the game. I think that's probably one of his biggest weaknesses, honestly. Like,
yeah,
that Olay just he have that James Harden just let him walk. Like, what is you doing?
So we're using the Ringers draft guy as our rubric, I guess. So based on that, who are some people outside of the top 10 that are like your biggest sleepers that you're just like, man, that dude, like he's lowly ranked, but like that dude's gonna be nice?
Old boy from Notre Dame, Blake Wesley. If he's available on the Bucks, I want that motherfucker.
Talk to him about Blake Wesley.
Blake Wesley, I was like, bro, like, dude is nice, like defense, offense. I mean, it's like Middleton light, but like I kind of fuck with him. Like just his all around game. He gives you the height, he gives you the size, he gives you some defensive versatility. He can pass some. Like, but the nigga hoop. Like he was at Notre Dame. He was pretty much the inspiration. Better defender though. He was pretty much like he sparked a lot of that. Like I was looking at some of his highlights. I'm like, okay, bro, kind of. Like defense to offense joints, like especially with our squad. Oh my god, he was great. That's who I got.
Camille, who you got? Well, you're taking a sip. Ken, who you got as your sleeper?
My sleeper.
Toss it back to her. Camille done now, so if you want to toss it back to her.
Oh, go ahead, Camille.
I figured you weren't ready. I put him on the spot. My bad.
No, I got two. One is somewhat of a higher ranked prospect, but I really love Jeremy Sohan. Is they pronounce Sohan? Sohan out of Baylor.
He played for Baylor, right? Yeah.
A 6'9" guy who can literally defend all 5 positions. Like, just the idea of him excites me, of like what he could become. He just has so much potential in my book. And I love how he always changing his hair colors and stuff too on a more just like, you know, unimportant level. But like he's active on boards, he boxes out, he rebounds, he's a good interior player. Like he can't really shoot like that. Like that's the weakness in this game. But if he gets drafted to the right place, right development, I think that can become at least something that's like average for him. His shot doesn't look bad. It just does not go in all that often. And then I'm also a fan of Dalen Terry out of Arizona, who is someone I have on my Bucks list, so I can talk a little bit more in depth about him a little bit later. But just a wing that can defend, like a rangy wing that can defend, and seeing how the league is going, like you need guys like that, and I think he has a valuable skill set to bring the teams.
Yeah, to that end, like I also have another guy that on my Bucks list that I'll just mention them here, but like we'll talk about them a little bit later in the show. But Jalen Williams, like
I love him for you.
Biggest man crush on Jalen Williams. Like every couple of years, like I have a guy that like he's just like, oh, he would be perfect for the Bucks. Like Desmond Bain was one, Donovan Mitchell was one. So like I've had pretty good taste. Like I've had pretty good taste with draft guys. But yeah, Jalen Williams, I love everything about his game. The other one that I have is Jaden. See, it's Jaden's like I always forget. Jaden Hardy from G League. Like he came into the season as a highly ranked, like he was in consideration for the #1 pick. He struggled in the G League, but contextually it was like, okay, it's the 18-year-old that's like the go-to guy in a league full of professionals. Like it's kind of expected for him to come in and struggle a little bit, but there was progression throughout the year. He still has the tools. If we look at somebody like Shaedon Sharpe, who didn't play at all this year, like they basically were neck and neck, like as high school players. So it really shows you like you can kind of lose for winning or win for losing if you just like get out while the getting's good, essentially. So I think like if Shaedon Sharpe is still holds like that prestige from his high school career, then like some of that should transfer over to Hardy, because again, like he put himself in a more difficult situation than even like the ones that went the one and done route in college. And like I think he was still like the people on his team deferred to him, which is a bunch of other highly ranked players and other professionals. Like he was the go-to guy on his team. I still feel like the talent is there. Like he's shown flashes of other things, so I think that with development, like he has all the tools to be a successful pro.
Mm-hmm.
Ken, did you come up with a sleeper, or do you want?
Yeah, my sleeper. I like Washington Jr. from Kentucky.
Ty.
Yeah, Ty.
He might be around
6'4" guard, man. I love how he moves. He a good playmaker. He passes the ball. I like the flow of his game. So,
and one thing to keep in mind with Kentucky guards, like they're always kind of tamped down a little bit in that Kentucky system. So like he can really, there's a chance that he could really explode to the next level. So I like that as an under the radar pick.
Yeah, he's a mid-range killer too.
Yeah, he is. The last thing that we'll hit on in this segment is which top prospect scares you the most? Camille, I don't know if Chet is the guy. I know you said you had some reservations.
No, Chet definitely does give me some pause because of his frame, but the player of all the top prospects that scares me the most, and I wouldn't be surprised if someone else has him on their list, but it's Shaedon Sharpe. As you kind of mentioned, like we literally just have high school tape, and we've only seen him against high school talent. He could be somebody who is like like Paul George. Like he could be a beautiful like shot creator in the league if everything pans out right. But he scares me. Like I don't have enough. If I had a top 5 draft pick, I completely understand the upside associated with them. But just given what we've been able to see from him, I don't know if I'd be willing to actually go ahead and make that pick. Like the athleticism is crazy. He's ideal size for a shooting guard. Like he's exactly what you would type in if you get a prototypical one. He can finish well, crazy booms. Like I get it, but I don't think I'd be able to do it.
Yeah, I think Tim, you agree with Sharpe, right?
Yeah, I mean, shit. We ain't saying nothing. Like, what have you done for me lately? Chill, sitting on the bench. Like, at least Kyrie gave us what, a game or two? 6 games, 7 games, maybe. I can't remember exactly the number, but it wasn't that many. Yeah. We seen something.
So, like for me, I'm always hesitant when it's like if he learns how to shoot X, if his jumper can improve X. It's like that's a really big part of NBA basketball. Like you gotta be able to, unless like everything else is like 9s and 10s across the board, like you gotta be able to shoot at least a bare minimum. So like for that reason, Dyson Daniels is kind of the guy for me where like it's Sharpe, but like I wanted to give a little bit more variability in this answer. But yeah, Dyson Daniels, like it's like, yeah, I see the appeal. It's kind of the same thing with Sohan too, a little bit. where it's like I get it, and like they do bring so many other things to the table, but like if they can't shoot, they're not gonna see the court. Like, it's just not going, at least like at a high level. So those are the guys for me.
I didn't care for none of his comps, anyways.
Who's?
Daniels.
No, Dice could be nice.
His comps from the Ringer is
that's Evan O'Connor
and Evan Turner.
Okay, but that's just his like,
that's his opinion.
I hear you, but I didn't like none of those comps for number 8 or number 7 or top 10. None of them.
Yeah. So before we go to break, I do just want to hit on some of the kids with Wisconsin ties that are in the draft. So Johnny Davis, he played at University of Wisconsin. He actually grew up in Oshkosh, and he's projected as a lottery pick. We have Patrick Baldwin Jr. He actually played for his dad at UW-Milwaukee. Big mistake. But he went to high school in Sussex. He still may be a late first-round pick, probably early second rounder. Justin Lewis played at Camille's alma mater. He's projected as around that same range. Maybe can make it into the tail end of the first round, probably early to mid second. Michael Foster Jr. He grew up in Milwaukee, went to Milwaukee, Washington. And he actually was in Hustle, the Netflix movie. So shout out to him. He's been projected as like a late second round pick pretty much the entire year. But I've heard in the last couple of days that he's actually in the mix in the late first. Like he may actually have a promise. So hopefully. Ken, from your alma mater, Alondis Williams, he went to Milwaukee Riverside. He went to Wake Forest this past year. He's the ACC Player of the Year, actually. And he's probably a mid to late second round pick. And then I don't know how to pronounce his name. O'Shea Agabaji from Kansas. He was actually born in Milwaukee. His parents played at UWM. I actually saw a clip today that he said his happiest NBA memory was actually the Bucks winning the title last year. So there's still some Milwaukee ties, even though he didn't really grow up here.
Good in my book. But we got to get to break.
We do. So see you
later.
We'll
be back. And we are back. Tim, Eric, myself, Camille, and Ken here talking to you about all things NBA draft, getting y'all ready for next week's festivities. We're going to kick off this segment here talking about the Bucks draft, since we're all, including Ken here now, fans of the Bucks, although Ken's first love is, of course, the LA Lakers.
Till I die.
Right. Talking about needs and who we have at the top of the board for the Bucks. So who wants to kick us off with their dream list of Bucks prospects?
So for me, excuse me. So for me, I've been banging the drum for years that they just need to draft as many like versatile wings as possible. Like that's always gonna be at the top of my list. Like anything that can kind of kick Giannis to the 5, at least in stretches, and can also play like a 3-4 is like perfect for me, because that allows Giannis to play the 5. That allows them to still stay big if they want to play Giannis and Bobby, Giannis and Brooke. Like have somebody on the wing too. So like for me, like that's where I really zeroed in on. But like I mentioned earlier, Jalen Williams is like top of my board. I just feel like he doesn't play exactly the same way, but he gives me really strong Malcolm Brogdon vibes. Like he's a 2 that can kind of create for you, can knock down shots, can kind of do a little bit everything on the offensive end. His defense wasn't as good as Brogdon's, and he isn't as physically imposing. But like he does have the tools. He has some long ass arms, which allows him to kind of make up on defense. I think it's more of like he had a really high offensive load at Santa Clara. So he kind of conserved energy on the defensive end, but like being like a complementary piece with the Bucks, I feel like will be perfect for him. So like some other names I had on my list: Jalen Williams, EJ Liddell, kind of like PJ Tucker clone, really. Dalen Terry, Tari Eason is. He has all the tools. I'm just not sure he knows how to play basketball. Like that's my. But the basketball IQ, I feel like is kind of like the knock. But he perfect NBA body, essentially. Like basically what I described to a T, where it's like he's a 3-4 hybrid that can kind of guard bigs, can also give you size on the wings if you want to play big. Some other names on my list. So Hardy, Wesley, Christian Brown, spelled Braun, but Christian Brown, like he's pronounced Brown. He seems like a big Dante DiVincenzo, like a 6'7" DiVincenzo. So like I would not be surprised at all if that's the pick on the day of the draft, just knowing like what Horst and Bud look for in a player. Like he's like the perfect complementary wing player. I would take a flyer on Baldwin Jr. against it's Jabari Smith, like coming into their freshman seasons. Like they're basically like clones of each other, 6'10" dudes that can shoot it and theoretically defend. Baldwin just like struggled with injuries the last 2 years. And then the guards. So Kennedy Chandler, Andrew Nembhard, Jaden Hardy. Those are guys that I'm looking for.
Fair enough. Let's see. So top of my list, because I know we need another guard, is Blake Wesley, like I mentioned before. But if he's available around that time. If not, I'll also take a flyer on Marjan Beauchamp.
Yes, sir. Can't shoot, but
he can't. But we can't go wrong with defenders. And he puts the ball in the bucket enough. Like he can't shoot a three for shit, but he can work on it. He can get there. Work on a little bit. Lethal shooter be fucking around with the Buck squad every now and then. So we might be able to just slide him over that way. I feel that way. Honestly, I feel that way about most of the cats who can't necessarily shoot the three well yet. But because I know that we have ties, because thanks to Bobby, that we got lethal shooter kind of floating around every now and then, and maybe they can go ahead and go over there and work with him for a minute. But yeah, Wesley's at the top of my list. I don't mind Ty as well for guard. Like I said, Marjan Beauchamp. Honestly, I like old boy from Arizona at center, even though he can't shoot a three for yes. He can't shoot a three for shit, but if you want to supplement Brooks' spacing up the floor like that and get a big that can still rim protect and rim run, I take the athletic ass big like that. I would love that because, well, I ain't gonna get into that, but yeah, I would love a player like him. And then our biggest thing that we haven't been able to find is a two in the last couple, like a consistent two guard who we can just like, all right, this is who our two. Like we had Dante. Sure. We plugged in Pat in there, sure. We had Rashad Evans. But not
Rashad
Vaughn. We had Vaughn. We've been kind of experimenting with cats at the two. Like I feel like if we could find another complement at the two guard who can ball handle and shoot, it'd be cool. That's why I got Wesley more so at the top, even though he like 6'4". Koloko, and you know what? I know that you might turn your nose up at this one, but I don't mind a flyer on Nikola Jovic.
Oh boy, he can't shoot.
He can, but another versatile big who can kind of move the ball.
What are we doing, Tim?
I hear you, but hear me out. Our team is stocked full of defenders. We can use another wing defender, sure, but we have defenders throughout our roster. It would not be bad to take a flyer on a guy who can bring a different type of creativity to our offense.
They have that already, and because he can't defend, he don't see the court.
Thank you.
Are you talking about
Jordan Moore?
Oh, I was
like, you got to keep it. You got to keep in mind, like Bud ain't gonna play him if they don't defend. So
you got to draft a defender.
You have to draft somebody who's not going to be a liability. And at this point, Nikola does not project to be somebody who is not going to be a liability. But I'm gonna take the ball from you here. I don't want no centers. We better not draft no center. If we draft a center, I'm gonna be pissed.
Walker Kessler is like my number one. Like, please do not pick that.
Don't do it.
He may be good. I don't want to be the one to have to ride the roller coaster.
Don't, unless somebody like slides. You don't expect to slide. Like if Mark Williams slid to 24 or something. Like okay, sure, but like that probably won't happen. So I'm crossing centers off my list. What I want predominantly is a big wing that can guard. And has at least a shooting stroke that looks like it's not, nothing's wrong with the stroke itself. Like maybe it's not going in, they just need some more reps, but like but that's my mentality when I'm looking at names. A lot of them have already been mentioned. I like Marjan Beauchamp from the Ignite. I like Christian Brown a lot. He's somebody who I really think the Bucks could draft if they stay at 24. I honestly wouldn't be mad if the Bucks traded down from 24. The way I've been seeing this draft, a lot of the guys, once you get past like the lottery, there's a lot of guys who are very close together. At least that's how it seems to me. And if we can get 2 guys in this draft rather than just 1, I wouldn't be mad at that. But Christian Brown is somebody I like a lot. Someone on Twitter was like, absolutely not. He's just a big Dante DiVincenzo. And I said, we act like Dante wasn't a useful player to have when he was healthy. Like, let's not act like Dante was super trash, but like Brown is nice. He super athletic, great finisher. He does all the little things. I also like Wendell Moore out of Duke. Some of his comps like Josh Green, Josh Hart, Gary Harris, and I'm like, a useful type of player that could be helpful. Solid on-ball defender, gets a lot of steals, comfortable pulling up in the mid-range, like which could project a 3-point. Right now, it's not there, but like at the end of the draft, no one's gonna have everything you're looking for. So Dalen Terry's probably my like number 1 outside of Jalen Williams, who Eric already went on about. Also a big fan of Blake Wesley. Not as big of a fan of Kendall Brown. I've been hearing his name associated with the Bucks. Just his shooting is too far off from where I'm trying to be at. Kennedy Chandler, dope guard, but he's a little guy, 6 foot. I have some questions about how he projects. Also wouldn't be mad at Jaden Hardy if you want to go the other way, but then again, like we mentioned, like Bud don't play people who ain't moving their feet on defense, and Jaden doesn't do that too well either. So I can see it being Brown. I'm actually like him probably more than most people. I think he can be a guy who's like a really key contributor as a role guy. Like I don't see superstar written on him, but I see like high-end role guy out of him. And I think that's what, I mean, of course you want superstar, but like with the Bucks' current window, what they're trying to do, I think a guy like him will be useful.
You made a face when I said Tari Eason. Was that a good face or a bad face?
I just don't know about him. I don't know. I got questions.
You be like, come on, man.
He also does little things too, but like he fouls a lot. Like he just, I
mean, you need somebody to stack somebody around every now and then. You know,
that man came off the bench and fouled out like 5 or 6 times. Still, I was like, Jesus, you know what? You got to foul out when you're coming off the bench.
He got 6 of them. He won't use them all.
Yeah, 5 in college.
Hey, he got 1 more. He gonna use all of them there too.
He got 1 more.
Like, and like I understand your hesitance with Kennedy Chandler being like a small guard. It's just like Chris going out in round 2 kind of exposed like the lack of shot creation from the rest of the team. So like I have kept that like in the back of my mind. It's like, okay, they do need a little bit more versatility, not just like positionally, but also just like play style. Like they need somebody else that can come in and kind of run the show a little bit. Like they don't really have a point guard. Like Drew doesn't run the team like he can, but he's more of a combo guard to me. Like having a pure point guard like has an allure to me, like personally.
Yeah, I'd rather have Ty than in that. Like
that's fair. He has more size.
Yeah,
that's my dude.
Ken, you got any people you want to see the Bucks take?
I like Ty. That's my dude. I like Blake Wesley too, and I don't know, call me crazy, but like I can see like why not Patrick Bowen?
I kind of feel the same way.
Yeah, I was like, why not? He had a bad freshman season, but like we kind of know still like you said what?
And sophomore.
Yeah, he's 6'9". He's 6'9". He's a big dude. He's like 220.
I thought he hurt for 2 years.
He played 1 year.
He played 1 year. Yeah.
He was hurt in high school.
Yeah, this is freshman year. Yeah, but I wouldn't. Why not pull the trigger on Patrick Bowen?
I mean, like I feel like I'm biased because I went to Milwaukee, so like yeah, hell yeah, take the UWM kid. But again, like it's a home run swing. Like if he's healthy, like he didn't test well athletically at the draft combine, which was kind of like, but like maybe the ankle is still giving him trouble, which also is like, but if like all the medicals check out, like maybe it's like a Michael Porter situation where, you know, they have red flags, but you know, the talent is still there. Like, and he is still like known as like a dead eye shooter, even if the percentages didn't really reflect that in Milwaukee. He was getting, like, I think he had like 6 inconsistent shots like the entire season.
It was on his heels.
Which probably isn't going to be the case in the NBA. So like maybe if he gets more wide open looks, like the shooting.
I got one more name before we move on. Bucks draft talk. If the Bucks do trade down, I would love for them to aim for Max Christie.
Like I said, 6'6" wing. Again, he had kind of an underwhelming freshman season, but he played better than Baldwin did.
Right. So, yeah.
Yeah. Before today, I was looking at like, oh, you know, Oklahoma City has 30 and 34. Like, that works. And then they traded 30 to Denver. So, they want that trade.
It's a pretty good segue. We can talk about some draft intel before we close the show with our own little mock draft with the lottery. So, here's the latest scuttlebutt. Again, we are recording this episode on June 20. We're recording this on June 13th. So at this moment, here are some things that we know. Apparently, the Lakers, the Rockets, and the Warriors are 3 teams that are showing interest in trying to buy or move into the early second round. And again, I could see why. A lot of the prospects all seem to kind of muddle around each other. So depending on what you value, I get that. Multiple teams with lottery picks are showing interest in Benedict Mathurin, with teams as high as the Pistons at 5 and the Pacers at 6 liking his skill set and his long-term potential. Malachi Branham is one of the highest risers throughout the pre-draft process, and he's a likely candidate to go as high with the Cavaliers at 14, assuming he does not go higher than that. There are injury concerns around Patrick Baldwin, as we've mentioned, but however, the scuttlebutt is saying that there are some teams in that 20 to 30 range who are interested in taking a chance on him because, as we mentioned, he is a 6'4" forward with a smooth shooting touch, and he could be the biggest boomer bust prospect that could end up being a top 10 player in this draft class. So there is some intrigue around him. And then, as we know, NBA is starting to send out some of those draft green room invites. Right now, we know about 16 of those names. And we've mentioned most of the guys already. Jabari Smith, Chet Holmgren, Paolo Banchero, Jaden Ivey, Keegan Murray, Shaedon Sharpe, Dyson Daniels, Benedict Mathurin, AJ Griffin, who we did not talk about, but he gonna be mocked. Jalen Duren, Johnny Davis, Ousmane Dieng from France, Jeremy Schoen. I cannot pronounce the
some names on this motherfucker.
I'm like, come on, man. I wouldn't be respectful. I'm not trying to say y'all names wrong.
O'Shea Agbaji.
There we go. Mark Williams and then Malachi Branham. So there might be another 4 guys who get added to that, but we will see. So right now, we're going to end the show doing our own little mock draft. We said that we're going to go in tech order. So Tim, Eric, myself, and then Ken. We're going to do it as a snake draft format. So we're just going to pick, like if we were the GM for this team, who we draft. So Tim, you have the number 1 draft pick. You are setting the stage for us all. Who's going number 1, sir?
Jabari Smith.
Okay, so.
All right, so 2. I'll go with Chet for OKC.
That feels right. 3 ain't gonna make it too difficult. We're gonna go ahead and grab Banchero.
Okay. At 4 for the Kings, I want to say Keegan Murray.
I like that.
For Detroit, I would say Jaden Ivey.
I feel like that if the draft shook out that way, yeah, I think Detroit would be ecstatic if the draft shook out that way and they were able to get Ivy at 5.
Yeah. Ivy K, sign me up.
Absolutely.
Well, you got the Pacers at 6.
Do I want to go with Shaedon Sharpe here? I'm just checking my little board here. The Pacers. I'm actually going to shake it up a little bit. I'm going to go with Ben Mathurin. I think that him on the wing there will fit nice to Tyler Halliburton. Then again, just about anybody will fit nice next to Tyler. So Tyrese. So that is what it is.
All right. So 7, I've got the Blazers. Like, honestly, I think they should just trade the pick. Like, if you're trying to compete with Dame, like, you need to that window's closing. And bringing in like a 19-year-old is not going to help. But for the sake of this draft, let's see. I honestly would have went Mathurin. But since I can't do that, personally, I like Mark Williams more. But for the Blazers, I'm gonna go with the kid from Memphis. Jesus Christ, I'm blanking on his name right now. Jalen Duren.
Okay. I got at
What team?
You got the Pelicans.
Let's get his copycat then. Or no, not his copycat. I'm gonna go with AJ Griffin.
I think that is a perfect landing spot for him because they need some more shooters in New Orleans, and he can come in and provide that immediately for them.
Yeah, either Mathurin or Griffin is probably going to be available in that spot, and I feel like they should take either one of them. Like, combine that with the wings that they already have, like Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, what was the other kid, Trey Murphy, the third. Like,
and then if Zion come back, they'll have
a big. He is.
And then they got Steven Adams still. So, yeah, AJ Griffin will probably fit right in there. That wouldn't be bad.
All right, so at 9, you got the Spurs. Who you got?
Oh, well, then I'm going to go with Osman Dieng. That kind of seemed like a Spurs type of player, bro. Like, he can get a little bit of offense, a little bit of defense. He got some height. He's an international player. Like, that's right up their alley.
So, what's interesting to me in that spot, if Shaedon Sharpe is starting to get a little bit lower in the lottery, I would like for him to land in San Antonio.
No, I don't want him. I want Shaedon Sharpe. I forgot the motherfucker was around. I'm sitting here putting the names, and I didn't even realize he was still around.
I was just going to say, you put the names there.
Yeah, I think him in San Antonio would be a nice spot for him to grow.
Okay. Man, I got all the trash situations. I got Washington. Washington just needs to start over from scratch. Fucking gross. I'm sorry to do this to Wisconsin, boy. I won't go.
No.
For who?
Johnny Davis.
Okay. Oh, that'd be trash.
Like I believe in Johnny Davis's potential. I really do. I hope he don't end up in Washington. I just don't think that's a good.
To replace Bill, because Bill.
I don't feel great about it, but
no, I hear you. But if you were drafting and you looking at who's on the board, I get it.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, that's me next. I got the Knicks.
You got the Knicks.
Hey.
See, Johnny Davis to the Knicks would make a lot of sense. The Knicks are a team that I've seen is looking to trade up. They are in love with Jaden Ivey.
He fits. Hey, he'll ball out in New York too.
I know he would, and I know they really want they want a guard that can kind of play some defense and. Let's just go with the board here. I'm gonna go with Dyson Daniels if he's still on the board there at 11 and go to the Knicks. Knicks fans might not be happy about that, but
they won't be.
They won't. They got RJ Barrett too.
I know.
You never have enough wings.
But they need the thing with Dyson is he projects kind of like a point guard. Like he's he can be a big point guard. So I think that, and he plays defense, and that's what Tibbs wants. So he fits into their current mold of players.
Fair enough.
Right, so me, right?
You got the Thunder and then the Hornets.
Sohan.
OKC, yeah.
For OKC.
Man,
So
if they could pair Chet and something,
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, if they pair both of them together, that's gonna be ugly, yo.
that's all they need. They need a front court. They need some defense.
That'd be ugly.
All the defense.
That's a bit. They'd be big as hell, dude. Yeah, that'd be nice.
And if you think about like what they already have there, like they have SGA, they got the kid they picked last year. What's the name?
Josh Giddey.
Giddey. Yep. Lou Dort. Like so, like they have the backcourt pretty much in place. Like it's the front court where they need work. So like if they can walk out with Sohan and Chet, like hell yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I got the Hornets next. Mark Williams.
Yes.
That's the pick.
Because they need. That's all they missing. I feel like they missing that big man anchor. 7'2".
Dog,
yeah, he go get
LaMelo would get busy.
I'm telling you,
Lob City East.
Give him a rim runner
all day. That's all day. Pick and roll.
Like that's probably my favorite like marriage of player and situation in the draft. Like that, and then like that, like I was saying, AJ Griffin or Mathurin in New Orleans. Like those are the two spots where I'm like, please don't fuck this up.
So it's on me for 14 with the Cavaliers.
Last pick of the lottery.
Last pick, right?
With all the bigs. I'm gonna go with Malachi Branham. I think that them getting another guard to pair with their new all-star could be nice, especially with Sexton being a restricted free agent. We don't know what's happening with him, and I mean he just don't play that much defense as it is. So might as well just take another guard and see what you can get there.
Yeah, I hate it. I mean, Tim, like we can get these last two picks, like they're outside the lottery, but I don't want to see a short change. So 15, Charlotte. They already got their big. I say you shoot for the stars. I'm going with Jaden Hardy.
I would love if he fell to the Bucks somehow, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't either.
All right, who I got? Who's my team?
You got Atlanta at 16.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, Atlanta.
Atlanta?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. At 16 for Atlanta, they need a little bit of help. They ain't got no goddamn defense. Well, they got some defense with Capella, but that's all you got. So, if that's the case, I think I'm gonna go with Dieng. I'm gonna go back to Dieng.
Oh yeah.
Redraft. Yeah, I feel you.
Go back to Dieng. Like, I mean, he's gonna be a shot in the dark for him but he'll bring some size. He'll bring some playmaking. They talking about getting rid of Collins already. So it's like you need some size still again.
Yeah, I hear you. So just to wrap this up, so we can get on body here. I think that's a pretty good mock draft.
Yeah, I got the order.
I think
at one, we got Jabari Smith going to Orlando. 2, we have Chet going to Oklahoma City. 3, Paolo going to Houston. 4, we had Sacramento picking Keegan Murray. 5, Jaden Ivey to Detroit. 6, Ben Mathurin to Indiana. 7, Portland picking Jalen Duren. Again, all these Jalen's and Jadens. 8, Pelicans, AJ Griffin. 9, Shaedon Sharpe to San Antonio. 10, Johnny Davis to Washington. 11, Dyson Daniels to New York. 12, Jeremy Sohan to Oklahoma City. 13, Mark Williams to Charlotte. 14, Malachi Branham to Cleveland. 15, Charlotte picking Jaden Hardy. And 16, Atlanta picking Ousmane Dieng.
And there you have it. We're going to get up out of here. If you have not already, make sure that you listen to our weekly show available wherever you listen to podcasts and on our YouTube page. So make sure y'all go and check that out. Support. If you have not already, like and subscribe to the YouTube. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can catch me.
Wait a minute.
On Twitter and Instagram at Camille Monet, CAMILEMONAE. Because
your mom is fancy.
Right there on the video.
At Bucks Burner on Twitter.
That's all you get.
Here.
Everyday_gentleman on Instagram, KHarris216 on Twitter and Snapchat.
And it's your boy TIMKINZ, the number 3, aka Ask Ketchum, aka Mr. Give It To Me. We out, bruh.
Peace out, y'all. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us, for listening. Make sure y'all stay safe. And we'll catch y'all next week.